road appearance. The opposition is the Greyhounds of Loyola, who ended a 7-game losing streak with a victory over Holy Cross, as Ken mentioned, by 18 in the consolation game of the Spunkmeyer Classic out in California. Having lost to Kansas State by just 7, there are the Greyhounds of Loyola, led by 32-year-old Brian Ellerby. And their starting lineup is a group of players that may still need some name tags, if you will. Anthony Smith, a transfer out of Duquesne in his second start after becoming eligible. 6'6" freshman Nicelo Abraham, a very nice-looking young player out of the Virgin Islands. Another freshman, 6'10" Roderick Platt from the acclaimed Hargrove Prep. And in the backcourt, Teron Owens, the only senior on the club, and Mike Powell. Powell was recruited originally by the University of Virginia, played there when Brian Ellerby was an assistant coach, and when Ellerby got this job, Mike came with him, and he is by far their most complete player. He will have the assignment tonight of Mark Bass, and that should be one of the more critical matchups of the evening. We'll come back and tip it off. You're watching St. Joseph's basketball on Sports Channel. Game festivities in the books. We'll come back and tip off the 23rd meeting between the Hawks and the Greyhounds in a moment.
Loyola has not beaten St. Joseph since 1930. The Hawks lead the all-time series 16-6. And the Hawks have won the last 12 meetings in a row. They've played the last three seasons in a row, in fact.
At 6'5", Anthony Smith will take the tip. It comes to Townsend to Bass for 3. Hello.
Well, that's one of the things they want to do is find Mark Bass open, and they do it right out of the chute.
Loyola scores right around 64 a ball game, gives up about 69. They do not play that much of an up-tempo game. That is a three-point opportunity. Teron Owens, no, over the back. And it's St. Joe basketball. They do like to run some pressure. And they set up in a 2-2-1. Apparently going to try to trap after half court, but Rashid breaks it on the dribble. And now they will zone up. There is no atmosphere in this building at all.
Hardly a noise in here right now tonight, Larry.
Which will help us because we can hear them call the set. And you know the St. Joe offense well enough to know where they're going. Bad pass, Mark Bass. The steal, Anthony Smith. I would say that would bring down the house, but about 8 or 9 people behind us got up and cheered. 3-2 St. Joseph's.
That was probably the worst received dunk in the history of college basketball. About 5 folks got up and yelled.
Again, Loyola zoning up. And the Hawks clear the painted area. Townsend on the perimeter. Dribble penetration, Duval Simmons swings it. They keep it hot for Bass. Ball fake, Bay. 17 feet away, front of the rim. Rebound on the floor and knocked out of bounds off the hands of Townsend. Loyola basketball. Loyola's starting point guard, John McDonald, simply walked off the team before they left for their California trip. And Mike Powell, number 5, who'd been the 2 guard, has been asked to take on some more duties, although forward Anthony Smith kind of playing point forward right now.
Yeah, Powell's turned the ball over an awful lot, 48 times coming into this game.
Shot by Powell's off the front of the rim and the floorboard to Mark Bass.
So the Hawks would like to expose that weakness if Powell does in fact handle the basketball a lot tonight for the Greyhounds.
There's Reggie on the perimeter. Simmons for 3, front of the rim as he line drives it. Duval's 13th three-point attempt of the year. He's 4 of 13 now. They feed the post. Abraham, offensive foul on the freshman as he ducks his shoulder in. His first, as he threw a bit of the elbow.
Player control foul number 4.
Well, the Hawks scored 10 seconds into the ball game. Now they've gone 2 minutes and 10 seconds without a point since that opening 3 by Bass.
Double team comes for Bay. Simmons, swing it. Townsend, back to Bay. All this on the far side. Cross court, Bass in a good spot. front of the rim as he had to shoot it over the flying Smith. Offensive rebound, no Simmons. Another tip for Simmons. Townsend, 5-footer, front of the rim. And it's off the hands of Teron Owens, St. Joe basketball.
You say good spot for Bass over there. It was a great spot up at the Meadowlands against TCU. He hit a shot to win the ball game for the Hawks at the end of double overtime from that very location.
And he gets a screen from Townsend, little two-man game. Fronting is Roderick Platt on Townsend in the post.
Not a lot of folks were left in the Meadow that late at night of the second game of a doubleheader either, but it was a thriller for the folks who did stick it out.
Shot clock reaches 10. Hawks looking to create some more offense off the dribble. Rashid's going to try to take Mike Powell. Cannot. Shot clock's at 2. Will to beat it. Will offensive rebound, steps through and lay it up. No. Will working hard with energy. Got it.
Oh, look at that presence inside there by Will Johnson. That's one thing Phil Martelli really wants to see is Will Johnson establish himself more, and he gets it there early for the bucket from Johnson. 5-2 Hawks.
Damani and Myers, early substitutions coming as Powell is posting on the smaller Mark Bass, one of the fears the Hawks coaching staff had coming in, and the foul called on Mark. So only 3.5 minutes in, we will see Dimitri Damani for Duval Simmons and Terrell Myers for Rashid Bey. Here's the Will Johnson follow-up.
Hawk substitutions, number 5, Terrell Myers.
Phil Martelli with lots to say right now to Rashid Bey as Powell sticks the 17-footer. Mike Powell scores 19 plus per ball game. He's legit. It's a 1-point ball game.
Greyhounds are going to work the perimeter like that. That is their strength.
Entry pass, ball fake, Townsend, traveling call, Reggie Townsend. And Phil Martelli says there's no shot blocker back there, buddy, just go straight up.
Much different than what the Hawks saw the other night against Old Dominion. They had a couple of big guys packing it in down low, wide bodies. Hawks lost a frustrating one that night. Had the opposite of the success up at the Meadow, losing at Old Dominion by 2.
Good, and a foul by freshman Nisilo Abraham.
Basket by Nisilo Abraham.
Called a foul on Will Johnson. And Loyola takes its first lead. Here's a classic interior move against Johnson.
His first, second on the team.
And Abraham, who his coach calls the glue of the team already as a freshman, one of 2 freshmen to play every game, to start every game this year, gets the bottom end. And with 15:50 remaining, we've got our first break in the action. You're watching St. Joseph's basketball on Sports Channel. Loyola College on a little mini run early, a 7-5 lead. Back to the Reitz Arena in Baltimore in a moment.
This broadcast is authorized by the St. Joseph's University Sports Network solely for the entertainment of our viewing audience. Any publication or reproduction of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the St. Joseph's Sports Network is prohibited.
That's Ken Krasalovic. I'm Larry Rosen. We're early on.
That was a fast read.
Had to be. Shot clock at 17. Myers from way out. Look what I found. Dimitri Damani, front of the rim. Johnson. Another putback opportunity for Townsend. The lefty ball fakes and scores. St. Joseph's, who is +7 on the season in rebounding margin, owning the glass.
First tie of the ball game. Hawks shooting just 2 of 9 coming out of the timeout. Took him a couple tries in there again to get the bucket.
Hawks man-to-man. Mark Bass has Mike Powell out front. That's the best matchup. Dribble penetration on the baseline. Kick it back out to Powell from Anthony Smith. Powell began his career at Virginia, Smith at Duquesne. Powell, good crossover. The lefty slash, soft and good.
Mike Powell.
Yet another lefty here playing tonight in the Lefty Reitz Arena.
Loyola, a 2-point lead. Bass for 3, not close. Will Johnson is whacked in the face by Teron Owens on the rebound. And that'll be out of bounds for St. Joseph's. Substitution for Loyola.
Right on foul, number 15.
Good again to see some presence on the offensive glass by Will Johnson.
That's Julian Tate, who's checked in, number 31. And the steal on the inside by Lamar Butler, the freshman center, who's come on as well. To Powell. Powell hands the ball to Johnson. Out front, Myers and Damani. They collide, and a travel is called. Bad communication there between Myers and Damani. And they look at one another. No one said my fault.
That's where you should be saying same team, and somebody backs off.
I expect you to say same team.
They could have heard me.
They could have heard you. If you said it in Russian. Terrell Myers out front drawing Anthony Smith. A forward trying to learn the point guard position on the job. Mike Powell, entry pass on the baseline. Abraham has to step away and throw it away. Over and back, St. Joseph's basketball. Nemanja Petrovic will get an early call for Will Johnson.
Here comes Bay again as well, replacing Bass.
So the three-guard rotation continues.
Ironically, the only guy who's been in the ball game all the way for the Hawks is Townsend, and he's the guy they said they want to try and get him a little more rest.
In the corner, Bay. Double team there, throws it away. Play is read by Smith. Smith against Damani with the left hand too strong, and Terrell Myers has it and is stripped from behind by Smith. Out of bounds off Petrovic.
Well, what you just saw at the other end of the floor was a turnover by Rashid Bey, and you don't see that very often. He's never had, now in his second year, more than 3 turnovers in any single game.
32-year-old Brian Ellerby trying to rebuild a program from almost scratch here at Loyola. Loyola went to the tournament 2 years ago under Skip Prosser.
Left the cupboard bare, though, as they say.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Good double team in the corner on Butler. Count is going. He throws it away to Petrovic.
That's a great double team there by the Hawks. They just had him sealed up.
And it is pretty much at a walk-it-up pace. Petro,
very deliberate basketball for the Hawks there.
Painted area again wide open as Townsend tries to flash high, now drops back low. Double team on Myers. He's in trouble. Myers finds Bay off the left hand of Petro. With the shot clock at 10, where are you going to go? Overload, far side, high post Petro. Puts it on the floor. Up and under is stripped. And the shot clock will not go off. Yes, it will.
I don't know why it did, because Loyola clearly had taken over possession.
And a call, looks like a timeout was called by Mike Powell as he took the ball on the floor. Call a timeout. They're going to give it a 20-second timeout. And Brian Ellerby wants to know, why was there not a shot clock violation in advance of the timeout call? And the answer is obvious. Yeah. Your guy had the ball.
That's right. He took over possession. Powell had the basketball with 2 seconds still left on the shot clock. There you see him with it. And the just in the backside, just holding on. Reggie Townsend trying to reach in. But at this point, the shot clock is still not going off.
1st and 10. So the 20-second timeout, experimental, adopted in both the MAC and the Atlantic 10. We check out Reggie Townsend.
I don't know any league that didn't adopt it, Larry.
Well, one by one, we're picking them off. If you give a choice to a coach of do you want another timeout or not to play with, I don't think anyone's going to say no. Mark Bass, one-man press on Mike Powell, will leave Anthony Smith out of Burlington, New Jersey in the Delaware Valley to run the point with Dimitri Damani.
Irony of that is it's an experimental rule, so you won't see it in the NCAA tournament, even though they're going to be playing with it all season long.
Posting up Powell on Rashid Bey. Bey is called for the same foul Mark Bass got called for a couple of minutes ago. And that is a bit of a difficulty because Powell is a post-up guard at 6'2". And has a bit of a size advantage over whoever he'll match up with. Fresh clock brought in to Anthony Smith. Smith, a cutter, a slasher. Good ball fake, left-hand jump hook.
Anthony Smith.
And it's a 4-point Loyola lead and a turnover by Bey. Ahead to Powell if he can run it down. He does, but not in scoring position. And they'll reset the offense. The drive by Julian Tate, blocked by Damani. Rebound up and under Smith. No, it's on the rim and off several hands. The last one being Rashid Bey.
Nope. Last one was somebody in a white shirt.
And Rashid will sit down yet again And the action on the inside, the miss, the tip, and then out of bounds, last touched by number 13, Anthony Smith. Myers goes over the top to Bass. Bass finds Townsend. Townsend again is blocked by 25 Lamar Butler as he ball faked when he had no need to, and the dribble penetration by Powell. Kick it behind for Owens 3, and what do you know? A 7-point Loyola lead. Owens, the only senior on the club, coming off a career high against Holy Cross.
10-2 run for Loyola.
Bass to break it, rims out, Petrovic. Petrovic can't get the roll, but will go back to the foul line.
And you may wonder why Coach Phil Martelli didn't take a timeout after that last Loyola bucket, but he's going to get a free timeout on the next dead ball, or if Petrovic hits the free throws here.
Good to see Nemanja active on the offensive glass. Nemanja Petrovic out of Belgrade, Yugoslavia, and North Penn High School, then University of Maryland before coming to St. Joseph's. And he has been bothered by some severe back pain through the course of the early season. Just really rounding himself into form in this his fourth ball game, misses a foul shot.
Petrovic just 2 of 2 from the line so far in the early going, so that was his first miss, a 95-96.
And the coaching staff will tell you that Nemanja is really fighting hard for his minutes as he misses another. And in his early going, he's tried too hard to do too much too soon, trying to let the game come to him a little bit. But right now, it's all Greyhounds on a 10-2 run. That's Milt Williams, who's now the backup point guard.
Pensive looks on that Hawk bench right now, Larry.
And good ball movement for Powell's 3, no. And if it weren't for the glass, the Hawks might be in deeper trouble. Johnson makes it one and done. Good catch by Petro, knee high, brings it back out to Bass. Myers takes the baseline step. Myers, jump stop, 8-footer, no. Petro again, tip back to Bass and a fresh clock. We do not have shooting percentages right now, but the Hawks, 7 points in 9 minutes, 15 seconds, and just 2 field goals. 3 field goals, rather. Duval Simmons. Baseline Johnson. Yep, Will Johnson. That helps break a 10-2 run. It's 14-9.
Almost too hard of a shot, but the rim was friendly.
Hawks playing man-to-man. Williams spins it off to Owens. Entry pass on the baseline, no good. Abraham, loose ball saved, and hard to the floor goes Milt Williams. Brian Ellaby wants a foul call, will not get it. But first, we'll take an official timeout. You're watching St. Joseph's basketball on Sports Channel. Loyola not playing like a 2-17. They have a 5-point lead midway through half number 1 here at the Reitz Arena.
Tickets to the Hawks and UMass.
Should be a good one. Hawks have had good success against UMass. Hawks are 4 of 19. Kent Krasalovic at 21% for the first 10 minutes. And that's a good look for Mark Bass. Got it. 14-12. So off the timeout, Phil Martelli made his point about keeping the ball hot.
Amazing how much better 5 of 20 is when Bass has just hit a 3 and you're within 2 points again.
Hawks still playing, man. Good jump switching on the perimeter. They'll double team down, and Damani will turn it into a layup.
Oh, they reached in and grabbed him by the arm and didn't get it.
But still the slam from Dimitri Damani, who even when the shooting has been off, has been a terrific defender for Phil Martelli. Ties it at 14.
Well, we were tied at 7. Then Loyola ran off 7 straight points. Now we're tied at 14.
And the Hawks have picked it up a notch on the defensive end. That's Williams. Gives up the dribble and leaves it for Anthony Smith. Smith matched with Mark Bass. Takes a baseline route. Swing it out front, big Roderick Platt. Now it's Teron Owens, no, and it's Will Johnson, one and done. Myers has Damani, offensive foul Myers. The pass was late, and that is not going to make Phil Martelli very happy. A couple of moments ago, here's the runner and dunk from Dimitri Damani. And if Terrell Myers had given up that pass a step sooner, he would have had back-to-back dunks. Instead, he gets a seat on the bench, does Terrell Myers. And Rashid Bey is back in.
Well, that bucket by Domani was a result of his defense, which has been really good, despite the fact that he's had so many problems shooting over the last couple of ball games.
Williams tries to take it to Bey. A push is called on Rosh out front. And for Rashid Bey, that is personal number 2. Substitution Mike Powell in, Teron Owens out. As Ellerby has a word for his freshman. Entry pass on the box. Layup is good for Nisilo Abraham.
Yeah, Domani's been really an enigma. He was 12 of 20 over the first 4 games this season from the field, and over the last 3, 2 of 15. Oh, he thought about lining up the 3 there.
In a good spot as they keep it hot for Bey. Rims out. Rebound weak side Mike Powell. Powell with his head high at center court. Has a man on the baseline. The turning move by Anthony Smith. He's stripped into the hands of Duval Simmons. Bass, not quite at a gallop, will bring it up.
And perhaps coming off that 12 of 20, Domani might have fired that, but you get a little tentative when you're in a slump.
Bass for the lead, front of the rim. Simmons saves it. Out of bounds. Good job, good hands. Reggie Townsend will come in. But first, we will step aside. You're watching St. Joseph's basketball on Sports Channel.
Officials, timeout.
7 minutes, 48 seconds remaining. Half number 1. Loyola still clinging to a 2-point lead. Back in a moment.
Larry, 20-6. Guess what score that is? That's rebounds. Hawks 20, Loyola 6 so far.
And what's the offensive rebounding look?
13 offensive boards for the Hawks, and St. Joseph's, of course, is trailing right now by 2. And Larry Rosen, my partner, almost wound up in the middle of the action.
That was nice. There we are. And that ball was tipped out of bounds by Milt Williams directly over our head. Reggie's going to protect us from in front, though. That's one big back you got on you, Reg. Thank you very much. Promised us he'd take care of us. And the Hawks inbound moving to our right.
You said we could talk to the players tonight with such a small crowd. You did it.
Small and quiet, although
Yeah,
it
they
includes
are.
a very famous person that we'll show you. We have no idea why he's here, but we'll share that. High post now for Townsend. 15-footers money for Reggie. That's the first one he's had from that spot in the high-low offense, and we're tied at 16. Hawks zoning up on the perimeter, as there's virtually no interior offense to speak of. However, they can shoot the 3. Smith, no. Will Johnson has an outlet. Townsend, no. He's going to use Bey to Bass, front of the rim. Another offensive rebound, this time for Domani. Stolen by Anthony Smith. Smith against Domani, and that's a good foul, Dimitri.
Yeah. You know, that loss the Hawks had at Old Dominion the other night by 2 points, the most frustrating thing about it for Phil Martelli, the Hawk, I'll let you.
Who is that guy? Sit up, buddy. There you go. That is John Thompson, legendary head coach down the road a piece at Georgetown University. Your basic busman's holiday.
There's his son.
Thank you very
Thompson.
much. I knew there was a reason. That's the head coach, Brian Ellerby, and the son of John Thompson, the assistant head coach.
So there is a good reason.
We would know that, but Loyola has yet to put out their media guide.
Yeah, they sent it back, they said. I don't know what that means.
Rejected the printer's proof. So we were on our own. 17-16 ball game. Teron Owens comes back in, number 15. Johnson alone is missed the dunk, and that's a very late whistle. My goodness, and Ellerby is laughing.
You know, I started to say before we were talking about the Thompson family there, about the Hawks, their most frustrating thing that they had at the Old Dominion game was the fact that they only scored 60 points. Phil Martelli believes that the Hawks should be scoring 72 to 75 as we take a look at that bang down low, which results in Johnson going to the line. And the Hawks really are, with only 16 points and over 13 minutes played tonight, are certainly not on any track to do much better than 60 points here either.
Foul was called on Lamar Butler, and the official, I believe that was John Cahill, went over to Brian Ellerby and said, I had a hard time finding my whistle, buddy. That's why it took so long. 1 out of 2. Johnson, we're tied at 17, and Phil is not pleased. And now calling on some man-to-man pressure or some zone pressure. We'll see if they follow through. Double team comes. Out front, it's Powell. That's Teron Owens. Near steal, again, a bit of a late whistle. It's a good call, but again, a bit of a late whistle as Damani was breaking the other way.
Again, you like to see that defensive presence by Dimitri Damani. You have to give him a lot of credit for as bad a shooting slump as he is in. He has not let it affect his team play.
That's 2 now on Dimitri. And 6'10" Lamar Butler, the first ever Massachusetts recruit in the history of this program, comes down to shoot free throws.
You know, Domani did the same thing last year. Did we have a lane violation there, Larry?
Must have been.
He started off great from the field and then hit a slump right at the same time. And he never really recovered. He had a couple of games that were pretty good or okay, but never really got it going again. And let's hope this year he can get his things together.
0 for 2 for the freshman Butler. Still a pair of 17s on the board, approaching the 6-minute plateau, half number 1. Lane wide open as now Townsend tries to post up, double team on Bass, bangs it out toward Bay.
Good court presence
and
there by Bass to
offensive foul.
save it.
Rashid Bey throws an elbow. And that will be 3, I believe, on Rashid Bey. It is.
Offensive foul, number 11.
And Myers is in, Bey is out. This is one of those wasted halves, if you will, if you're Rashid Bey. Double high post set for Loyola. At a walk it up pace. Teron Owens on the perimeter. Double screen for Powell. Accepts he's got Bass, who he can beat in size and strength. But Mark shuts him down. Nearly takes it away. And again, nothing left to do but throw it off a knee. That time Anthony Smith. We have seen 6 or 7 of those.
Yeah, guys double teamed, nothing to do. Guys caught in the corner along the baseline and just praying, throwing it up to somebody or slapping it off a knee.
Front of the rim for Mike Powell. Weak side board, Will Johnson finds Terrell Myers. Duval Simmons, who had his first start, into the lane. Townsend triple teamed and dribbles out of it. Resets it. Bass looking for the ball swing. In traffic, Myers, no look, no need. There's no need for that kind of a pass. A simple little ABC bounce pass gets a slam dunk.
And again, that's one of the things that they've seen as a problem with him. He sometimes has to improve his decision making. Maybe does one dribble too many or one pass too many when he can get away with it. If he just lets his talent go and relies on some instinct maybe a little more.
Good cut. Johnson on the tip as Townsend misses a 7-footer, and Will on the backboard has really helped his club. They've retaken the lead.
Best thing about this game so far from the Hawk perspective is the play of Will Johnson inside.
Lamar Butler is stripped. Bass does not have numbers, has a trailer, will go secondary for Myers. Simmons far side. Good look, Townsend. Another ball fake, one dribble, and the kick for Myers.
That's another thing we've seen a lot of, little tips, you know, and somebody still winds up grabbing them.
Drop step, Reggie, traveling Reggie. And Reggie will get a seat on the bench as he's not really had much of a flow going tonight. Nemanja Petrovic will come and get him.
This whole game has no flow so far, Larry.
Except for us.
Yeah.
Returning for the Greyhounds, 45, Roderick Platt.
Freshman Roderick Platt comes back in at 6'10", and he will meet Nemanja Petrovic at the high post. Double high set as they give a ball screen to Powell. Good jump switch by Johnson to cut off Mike Powell, who's the statistical leader in 8 different categories for Loyola. Good quick crossover, bounce pass on the floor to Platt. Out front it goes. Shot clock's at 5. An open look for Teron Owens and knocks down the 3. Owens is a 51%er from three-point range, by far the best on the club, and Loyola retakes a 1-point lead.
6 points for Owens. 20-19.
Myers from deep, front of the rim, over the back. And Phil is looking for answers. You're watching St. Joseph's Basketball on Sports Channel. We're set for the final chapter of half number 1. Surprisingly, the Greyhounds of Loyola lead Phil Martelli's club by 20-19. We'll come back, close out this intriguing first half in just a moment.
First track down there. Now, we've been going to Olean for years. We went to Morgantown for a long time, so this shouldn't be too tough.
You guys flying to Roanoke or Charlotte?
Roanoke, yeah. Got to change plans to get to Roanoke.
Yeah,
you can't get a direct flight to there.
The tech people say that the savvy traveler goes to Charlotte and comes back up north, but it looks geographically like you ought to go to Roanoke.
They said 45 minutes from Roanoke driving, so we'll try it.
As the cow flies or whatever. Meanwhile, St. Joe's in a bit of a lull here, knocked out of bounds by Myers. Statistically speaking, the Hawks have had 10 more shots, same number of field goals, both teams with 8. Hawks enjoying a 22-5 rebounding advantage, but they've turned it over 9 times in the first 16 minutes of play.
Hawks shooting bad at 8 of 28, but 4 of their last 9, so they're getting better.
There you go. Good D by Myers on the perimeter. That's Powell. He's going to be short off the front of the rim. Duval Simmons gets up. And a good defensive rebound on the weak side. Myers gives to Simmons. Simmons has Bass in the corner. That's a good-looking 3. Mark Bass, and he pumps a fist to try to get his club going. Back up by 2. On the baseline, Abraham over top of Johnson, reties it. And I think that Will Johnson was surprised that he turned and shot because Will did not react.
5th tie already, Lair.
At 22, Simmons, line drive 3 again. No, defensive rebound and a poke in the eye for Teron Owens.
No arc on that shot. Not much chance of that one going down.
We used to say shot like a guy who played in elementary school gyms with the 9-foot ceiling or something.
Or you could say shoots like me.
There you go.
Just plain bad.
Little 2-man game, 17-foot pull-up. Anthony Smith, no flat-footed rebound. Will Johnson. Johnson has been a rebounding terror in the first half. Petrovic knocks over his man on the inside. Anthony Smith, no whistle, as that is called incidental contact, but legit contact at that. 2 minutes remaining, half number 1. Petro, ball fake. Petro, layup, missed it. Foul by Nisolo Abraham. And the slim down, trim down Petro with good quickness on the interior. It's a nice little move here.
Nice pump fake move, yeah. Accepts the pass, gets himself open, and unfortunately didn't get the conversion on the try. But he will go to the stripe with 2:02 left in the first half.
And 22s apiece.
Lots of deuces on that scoreboard there, Larry.
That was foul number 2 on Nisolo Abraham.
Keep finding more, huh? I told that PA man it's Nemanja, not Ja.
Got it. Hawks retake the lead. Looks like Mark Bass is the only guy on the team that Phil Martelli feels like talking to right about now.
It's been a long trip for the Hawks.
They did not go back to Philadelphia between their trip to Norfolk a couple of nights ago and here, although...
They will do that tonight. They'll go home to Philly before they go to Virginia Tech for the Sunday afternoon game.
Double high post. Powell off the screen. Blocked and fouled Terrell Myers. 3 shots coming and another basketball in our hands.
Once again.
Fouls on number 5, Terrell Myers.
Out of character foul for Myers running at the shooter.
On the team.
And a lot of contact will send Teron Owens to the line.
At the line, Teron Owens.
Good choice of words there, out of character. That's something that Phil Martelli's talked to his team about a lot since the Old Dominion game. He doesn't want them to do things out of character. If they play like they're capable, do the right things, make the right decisions, they're going to win ball games. This team tonight is someone they would beat. Same thing again on Tuesday night at Old Dominion. Had the Hawks not made as many mistakes, they would have won that ball game.
3 free throws. 1, 2, 3 for Owens. The only senior gives his club back the lead, and they set up pressure.
He's not looking for Herculean performances. He's just looking for him to do the things right that they can do right.
Myers is called for an offensive foul, pushing off with the offhand, trying to beat the double team in the backcourt. And Phil looking for backcourt answers. Here it is. And he certainly did have that left arm up, or the right arm up. That's 3 on Myers, 3 on Bay. And 10 team fouls on the Hawks. Julian Tate travels as he looked up and saw Reggie Townsend. And again, pressure as Petrovic will replace Duval Simmons. Little extra ball handling against this trap. Dimitri does handle trapping pressure very well. The diagonal pass made to Petro, and now they'll set the offense. Posted Townsend. Backing his man down, is blocked on the weak side, help of Lamar Butler.
Hawks have been taking their shots earlier in the possessions as the half's gone on. When they were being most deliberate, when Loyola had built up that 7-point lead.
There's the block by Butler. Again, the skip pass. Bass, Damani, Myers standing still. And that's Terrell's best look of the night. He is an outstanding standstill shooter and knocks down his 13th three of the year.
That's the spark that they like to see out of Myers when he comes in off the bench.
Mike Powell out front. Game clock's at 45, shot clock's at 21. They could have exchanged 2 for 1 possession-wise, could Loyola, if they hurried in the offense, but they do not. Up and under, tough shot, not close. Myers the rebound, and the Hawks can hold for 1. There's about a second differential on the clocks, but it looks as if the Hawks will hold for 1. If they do, they will go into the locker room with a lead against a 3-2 zone of Loyola. Both clocks reach the 10-second mark. Myers.
Usually when they get under 10, that's when they fire it up. That's where we're at.
Bass travels as he accepts the ball on the curl and takes a tippy tap. 6 seconds remaining. And Phil, it was easier as an assistant.
You can see in the background there behind Phil briefly, that was Craig Amos, former Hawk star who's out of Baltimore. And we'll be talking to Larry at half.
2-1, Powell will count around and out. And despite it all, the turnovers, the missed shots, and the execution difficulties, the foul difficulties for both point guards, Myers and Bay, the Hawks go into the locker room with a 2-point lead. You're watching St. Joseph's basketball on Sports Channel. With Loyola trailing by 2, back with halftime in a moment. Underway with second half action. St. Joseph's a 2-point lead. Remember, foul difficulties plaguing the Hawk backcourt. Myers and Bay 3 apiece. The steal by Bass. Bass ahead to Bay. Bay had a scoreless first half with 3 turnovers and 3 personal fouls. Step away 15-footer Townsend is money. Reggie now 3 for 7, has 7 points. Lead is 4. On the run comes Loyola. Mike Powell on the baseline. Powell will lay it up, and no! He was not challenged. Rebound, and a push foul in the back is called Townsend against Nicelo Abraham. And immediately, Petrovic will go to the scorer's table to go in for Reggie Townsend. So some early punitive substitutions this evening for Phil Martelli.
Just the first personal against Reggie, but that's not why he's going to the bench.
Abraham, out of St. Croix, the Virgin Islands, was a second-team All-Virginia performer a year ago in Hampton. And the reigning MAC Rookie of the Week. That's Teron Owens, the senior guard, and the seat on the bench for Townsend. Couple of hops and good. It's a 3-point lead, St. Joseph's. And Rashid Bey really hoping to bring some offensive equilibrium together for this club, which has struggled. Petro on the perimeter. Simmons.
That opening bucket out of the gates gave the Hawks their biggest lead of the ball game, 4. They had a chance to get a bigger one there, but don't.
As now Simmons is 0 for 3 on three-pointers. Stutter step 15-footer, heel of the rim for Anthony Smith.
Good strong rebound there by Will against Abraham.
Petro running the floor very well. They look ahead, and all Smith can do is knock it over the baseline. And you like to see the big people get out and run the floor. Inbounded by Bass. Brian Ellerby, head man here at Loyola.
Talked about Johnson's play in the first half. He had 11 rebounds, making 12 now off that last one.
That'll be a foul on Teron Owens, as Simmons did a very good job of creating some contact. Personal number 2 on Owens.
The team's first.
Johnson's career high.
Here's Duval.
Sorry.
Duval Simmons for 2.
Again, creating the contact and getting himself to the foul line.
I was going to say Johnson's career high in rebounds, 14, so he's just a couple away, and we've got 18:51 to go in the ballgame.
And Will had 7 first-half points, has 3 double-doubles this season. Simmons a couple of free throws, and the lead is at 5.
Now that is the biggest margin for the Hawks. Biggest Loyola lead was 7. That was back at 14-7.
Hawks are following the guards through on the perimeter. Nice entry pass is made from Smith to the baseline to Abraham, and Petrovic has to come over and foul. And Phil Martelli very vocal with his club. And here's the wide open man on the inside. As a missed assignment left the freshman Abraham open again.
At the line, Nicelo Abraham.
Nicelo Abraham. 75% free throw shooter. Does not get that roll.
Native of the Virgin Islands, and there are not many Division I teams left where you don't see at least one guy from outside the Continental 48.
Absolutely. Again it rims out, and Nemanja Petrovic with the rebound. Diagonal cut pass for Bay from Bass. But he'll back it up and start the offense.
It looks like Loyola might be helping the Hawks get a big lead here.
That was a pass, I believe. Whatever it is, it's a turnover. And ahead of the pack, the layup is up and good from Roderick Platt. That is Platt's first of the ballgame.
That was the case of the Hawks helping Loyola get back in.
Roderick Platt. Assist, Anthony Smith.
Let's say that was a confused possession the last time down for St. Joseph's.
Hawks have been trying so hard to keep the dribbling to a minimum and run this efficient passing game, but a lot of that.
Again, some hijinks on offense.
Bay penetrates and throws it away. Ahead of the pack comes Anthony Smith. Layup. 1-point game, and Bay did not want to give foul number 4. And that will be a career high in turnovers, sad to say, for Rashid Bey, who had never had 4 in a collegiate ball game before tonight. Loyola content to stay in that zone. The only shooter they've had to be really concerned with, Mark Bass, was open in the corner. Duval reverses the other way. Bay for 3. Long, off the heel, and strong. Mike Powell the rebound.
Talk about turnovers for the Hawks, Larry. They had 14 in the first half. The most in any game this year so far was 21. That was in the season opener at Delaware.
And Powell gives his club back the lead at 32-31. And Phil Martelli, searching for answers, will go to Terrell Myers to run point again. Simmons to the cutting Petrovic, did not get a good handle. Johnson, another rebound, and over the back comes Petrovic. And that'll be foul number 2 on Nemanja. And we will get a look at Dimitri Damani and Terrell Myers for Duval Simmons and Rashid Bey.
The foul's on number 15, Nemanja Petrovic, his second, the team's third.
And Rashid has that highly frustrated look
Turning for the Hawks.
4 minutes into half number 2, his club down 1 at Loyola. Larry Rosen with Ken Krasalovic. Glad you're with us on Sports Channel and the St. Joe Network. 15-footer Abraham long. Petrovic, good defensive body work to get his man out.
That look could get pretty contagious unless the Hawks start converting.
Damani gets caught up in the air, can only throw it back out. Damani slashes, and the pass is made for Myers. Again, no offensive sync whatsoever. High post Johnson, 12-footer is fouled from behind by Teron Owens, and Will Johnson, who's been a revelation on the glass this evening, will go back to the free throw line.
Greyhound foul.
We'll see freshman Lamar Butler replacing freshman Roderick Platt. And here's Will with open spacing. Foul number 3 on Teron Owens. Johnson out of Central High School makes the first and reties it at 32. It's a 67%er. Phil has not uncrossed those arms much tonight. A pair for Johnson.
For the Greyhounds, 25.
Will has 9 points in the ball game. The Hawks came in as the number 15 team in the nation free throw shooting wise. Johnson, the only guy under 70%. He was 0 for 2 in his first trip to the line tonight. Converts here.
Good steal by Myers, but can't come up with it. Powell was trying to post up on Mark Bass. The double down resulted in the loose ball. Now Damani out front with Mike Powell. Damani wants to take the challenge. On the curl comes Owens. Left hand, no. And Damani's got it. That'll go as a turnover against Brian Ellerby's Loyola Greyhounds. Myers from way out off iron. Rebound, Milt Williams on the floor. Ball fake and a 3. Owens drills it. Teron Owens. Loyola up 2.
Well, when they teach the ball fake, that's what it's supposed to do. Textbook right there, and a bucket. 12 points for Owens.
High post Petro, 1 dribble, up and under 8-footer, yep, for Nemanja. And Petrovic and Johnson's work on the inside really keeping this club afloat right now, tied at 35.
The Hawks have beaten Loyola 12 times in a row, dating back to 1930. Right now, Loyola threatening, and that's straight.
Mike Powell is called for the walk and will be called for a timeout. 14:35 remaining second half. You're watching St. Joe basketball on Sports Channel. It's a flat-footed tie, live from the Reitz Arena.
Arizona and LaSalle will visit the Palestra. The Hawks will host a couple games there on the following Saturdays, the 13th and 20th of January. So call and get the information, and we're going to play with the buzzer going.
Myers breaking pressure is fouled from behind by Anthony Smith. We told you there wasn't much atmosphere in the building, so
this is the most noise we've had all night by far.
that's the first foul on Anthony Smith.
13, Anthony Smith is first.
And apparently simply someone opened a fire door, and it's a central system. So
well, we
the
hope
alarms-
that that's what happened, that there's like part of the building burning down behind us or something.
That's fine. Well, if they clear the gym, it won't take too long. Bass, double team, kicks it. Myers. Damani. Now the swing, Bass. His 9th three-pointer, his 4th make. And the Hawks go back up by 3.
Bass with an even dozen now.
Has shot nothing but threes tonight. Of course, they gave the bucket at the PA side to Terrell Myers, and Mark's out there pointing at himself. He needs those points. He and Townsend are in a race for 1,000 that Bass right now leads by a little bit. Entry pass on the baseline, Abraham. 2-man game with Williams. Dribble penetration, swing it, Anthony Smith. 10 on the timer, offensive foul, Anthony Smith, as Damani does that once or twice every game with that good body control.
Well, if that PA announcer gave that 3 to Myers, maybe the buzzer's interfering with his eyes somehow in addition to his ears.
Anthony Smith is second.
So you check out the 4-3 for Mark Bass. Again, the trap is set up on Myers. Steps through it, And his triple team, balls on the floor, still St. Joe basketball.
The infamous rugby scrum there. Hawks will keep it.
Fire alarm's a little irritating. Double team on Bass, gives it back to Simmons. Over the top, throws it away, Duval. Ill-advised, Powell finds Smith. Anthony Smith into double team pressure. Around Damani on the baseline, Williams for three, and we're tied again. At 13-13 remaining, we're tied at 38.
For three.
Well, one thing, the Hawks are in familiar territory. They've had a couple of nail biters over the last week. Right in it again.
Almost thrown away that time. Knocked out of bounds by Lamar Butler.
So if experience has anything to do with it, St. Joseph should be in pretty good shape coming down the stretch here.
Loyola, 3-2 zone. Bass for three. Got it, his fifth, and he is the heart and soul of this basketball team. He is the one that is asked to take all those kind of shots when the club is really scuffling. With 15 points, Mark Bass leads all scorers. Entry pass baseline. Abraham double team. Kick it. Smith, 12-footer, is fouled as he airballs.
Again, another
Unnecessary violation on Terrell Myers, and we'll get Rashid Bey back as Phil Martelli looks like he wants to walk out of the gym all the way down to our left.
Number 5, Terrell Myers, his fourth.
That's 4 on Myers,
On the team.
4 on the Hawks as we see Phil. And once more it's Anthony Smith at the free throw line.
So 4 fouls on Myers, 3 on Bey.
At the line, Anthony
With a lot of
Smith
ball game
for
left.
2.
Martelli's having a hard time making up which guy to leave out there. They may decide it for him, or they might both wind up on the bench before it's over, just because of fouls.
Anthony Smith was an all-rookie Atlantic 10 member of the team in '93 at Duquesne University. Got 9 points, 2.5 boards before transferring, so he's one player they certainly know about. Damani swings it. Bass, Damani, still keeping it hot on the perimeter. Good spacing by the 3 guards. And the cross court's there for Bey. Duval, 15-footer, off iron. Good board, Reggie. Townsend can't control it. On the floor and recovered by Mike Powell. Powell for the lead. Wow. 42-41, Loyola. Cross court Bass.
That's the 11th lead change. Make it 12.
Make it 12. That is 6 threes for Mark Bass. Has 18. 44-42. And this might, we thought at the beginning, Mike Powell and Mark Bass might take it into their own hands. That'll be a push foul called on the baseline penetration. Is it on Bey? No, it's on Duval Simmons.
Well, aficionados of the Big Five talk about the famous bomb threat game at the Palestra. This is now the famous fire alarm game in Baltimore.
Still going. And there's number 6 3-point wise, Mark Bass, who now has 28 in 8 games this season, shooting right around 40%. Milton Williams, the junior guard out of Greensboro, North Carolina, who played a key role on this team's NCAA run 2 years ago, and not much since. 1 out of 2. 1 point lead for the Hawks.
This has the makings of one of those that whoever has it last could be the one that wins it.
Townsend high post. That's a 3 for Damani. Will not be close. We could see that angle. He missed that by several feet. And with that, the Hawks will come together around Phil Martelli. You're watching St. Joe basketball on Sports Channel. It's a 1-point Hawk lead at Loyola. We're midway through half number 2, a 1-point, highly competitive basketball game at Loyola as the fire alarms continue to sound.
Went off for about a second, and it got a brief cheer, and before they could finish the cheer, it came back on. So I saw security guys running around and stuff, but no one can seem to find the switch.
Loyola playing that double high post set, then they look to flash Abraham. Can't get it to him as Townsend doing a good job on topside defense. Back out front it comes.
See if the Hawks can find the switch and turn the offense on here for the final 10:46.
Powell with Bass, and a body foul as Mark Bass got up and under on Mike Powell. Bass will be personal foul number 2, team foul number 6 for Phil Martelli's club. And triggering Teron Owens. Abraham in traffic, stripped by Will Johnson into the hands of Rashid Bey. A lot of good hustle on Loyola's part. They've had great floor balance. Nothing's come easy. Townsend is blocked from Mike Powell off the left hand.
Again, we had a moment of silence from the fire alarm. Now we have a turnover again.
Damani to Johnson, back to Damani, leave it for Bass, his 7-3, no, front of the rim. Tapped by Johnson.
Will Johnson is on fire right now, inside and out.
A double-double now for Will, 11 points and 14 boards to tie a career high. Bass's 6 3-pointers ties a career high, achieved against Princeton.
Hawk record for threes in the game, 9 by Brian Leahy, a game I remember well against Duquesne back in about 88.
Mike Powell called for traveling as he goes behind the back.
Turning for the Greyhounds, 3, Milt Williams.
Here you see
Roderick Platt.
Johnson goes for that double-double here, working hard on the glass.
Well, they found where the switch is. They can't just keep it turned off on that fire alarm. And there it picked off by Loyola.
Very sloppy series of exchanges here. And another steal from Bass. He's knocked down, no call. Powell double-teamed on the floor. Damani, and Powell is over the end line. Powell bounces the ball off the head of Dimitri Damani. And now Rashid Bey steps in to kind of defend his own man. Powell and Damani have a problem at center court.
You know, Larry, I have to really wonder if the fire alarm has something to do with the way things are going right now, because it's chopped on and off a couple of times, and it's just been really annoying. And it seems like when it stops for a moment that there's always a turnover or a block shot or something goofy that happens.
It's a nasty sound, I'll tell you. It must sound worse in the building, hopefully, than it sounds to you at home. Of course, you guys have to listen to me and Kenny, so maybe the alarm would be good. Myers for 3, no. Weak side board, Will Johnson, ripped out of his hands. Anthony Smith ahead to Milt Williams, looking for a trailer. Has Roderick Platt from 15 feet, no. Rebound, Abraham, lefty, yep. 1-point ball game.
Shilo Abraham.
The intensity is indeed rising. And now the intermittent noise of the fire alarm may be even more irritating.
Really, that's what I was alluding to earlier, Larry.
Bey for 3, short. Strong side rebound, Mike Powell. Powell at a gallop. Left-hand pass, Owens is hammered, and that'll be the limit for one Terrell Myers, who with 8:44 looks like will take the rest of the evening off. It's a very dangerous scenario right now for St. Joseph's.
The foul's on number 5.
And there's a hard foul by Terrell Myers. And Terrell is gone.
I don't remember all 5 of the fouls, but the ones I do remember, none of them were very good fouls.
He had several on the perimeter, a couple for 3-point plays.
And is replaced by number 10.
And Mark Bass comes back in.
At the line,
Anthony Smith
for 2.
with his club trailing by a point. Tie game yet again. It's been very hard to get Reggie Townsend involved offensively, as Loyola has gone zone almost all night. A not particularly aggressive 3/4 court press, and Bey walks it up against it. There's Reggie's turning away. No, off the front of the rim from 15 feet.
That's his favorite shot, but it didn't fall for him that time.
Had it in rhythm. Kickball, Bey, fresh clock, Loyola, with 8:21 remaining. And the fire alarm incessantly blaring behind us. And Guys have gotten a lot testier on the floor since then. You know, it's got to be part of it.
It's been going for about the last 6 or 7 minutes of playing time. Again, it went silent for a couple of precious moments, but right back on it comes.
Mike Powell to Williams. Bad pass, Williams. Look what I found, Williams, and it's back into the hands of Anthony Smith. Shot clock is still at 9. Smith out of control. Smith steps on Will Johnson, has it back, and they reset the shot clock. I did not see a ball hit a rim, but they did give him a fresh clock.
I think it did on his first try with the underhand. I think it got the side of the rim there, Larry.
Okay.
Smith was lucky he was in front of his own bench because he didn't have a shot clock when he got the ball outside. He had no idea the shot clock was at 8. They yelled at him. That's when he drove in and took that wild off-balance driving shot.
You're watching St. Joe basketball on Sports Channel. Loyola leads by 1. It would be a very big win for Stephanie Gately's club, should they get it, against Joni O'Brien and the UMass Minute Women. Teron Owens has checked back in. It's Anthony Smith out front against Mark Bass. Powell on the curl, shovel pass, back to Smith. 5 on the shot clock, the 4th shot over Bass, no, off Damani. And they'll give it to St. Joseph's, that's a good call.
And Larry, now we have the final from the field house. The St. Joe women have beaten UMass 64-50.
Congratulations to Stephanie and Frank Gately, the entire staff. That's a huge win at home against UMass. A 3 for Damani is a big one here.
That was as perfect as the one before was bad. He missed the other one by about 2 feet. That one went right through the rim, dead eye.
Damani now 4 for 10 from distance on the season. 2 points, St. Joseph's lead. I believe we can say that the buzzer has finally stopped on the fire alarm. For 3 off the heel, and the ball is swung over to Mike Powell on the floor. A whistle and a kick is called on Will Johnson, who comes up limping a little bit. And here's Dimitri on the perimeter. And as you said, Kenny, it's as good as it could look. 2 minutes after missing by 2 feet.
We'll show him that tape over and over and over on replay and build up his confidence.
Out near half court, Mike Powell accepts it. Goes left around Bass. The help comes from Johnson. The 15-footer ties the ball game, Mike Powell.
Now Johnson was right there, but Powell got it over him anyway. 11 points for Powell.
Damani helping against pressure. Rashid Bey, Dimitri dribble penetration and the finger roll. Hello.
Wow.
And 1. That is the most attacking move of the night by any Hawk, let alone by Dimitri. Looked like he caught the entire backside of the Loyola defense by deep surprise. Foul called on Mike Powell, just his first. And St. Joseph's retakes the lead. Got it.
Well, Damani's got 8 points in the ball game, 5 of them in about the last 30 seconds.
We approach the 6-minute plateau. Hawks by 3.
I mean 6 of them in the last 30 seconds.
For 3, and we're tied again. That's Teron Owens, a terrific perimeter shooter.
For 3.
15 for Owens.
Most of them just like that. Townsend helps on the bounce pass against the pressure.
We're into double-figure ties so far now. The most recent and current 52 all.
Bey has Damani. Townsend, good ball fake. Townsend is fouled and score it. That is an NBA level continuation, if you will, because the foul came from Powell as he brought up the dribble, but they give him the shot. There's the foul.
Well, shot. Hands were coming up
Come
to
on,
shoot.
come
It's
on.
a little early, but
I saw the look on your face. We'll take it. Reggie for the bottom end. And big Roderick Platt, the rebound. Hawks by 2.
Townsend has 8 points, by the way, now.
A little bit more scoring balance. Double high stack. They post up Julian Tate. Tate drags the pivot foot, no call. Kick it out front, Owens. Powell back to Platt. Platt spinning, offensive foul. Good base defense by Will Johnson as he used the NBA hook.
And that's the most emotion we've had out of this crowd all night. They did not like the call. Goes in favor of the Crimson and Gray.
Very good call. First on Platt. And now it'll be free throws for both clubs the rest of the way. Inside 5 minutes. High post Reggie. Kick it to the corner. Nearly thrown away and is thrown away. Here comes Owens. Owens to Julian Tate. Platt out high. Faces nowhere to go. And Mike Powell looks over Mark Bass. That's your confrontation. Gets a ball screen. Bay helps out. Shot clock's at 7. So now it's Bay against Powell. Powell, 10-footer. No, tip, no. Damani keeps it alive on the floor for Bay. Rash at a gallop, 3-on-3. Kick it to the corner. And an offensive foul by the out-of-control Rashid Bay. Had the right idea to push it and find Bass in the corner, but didn't stop after he lost the basketball. And a timeout's going to be taken by Loyola. It's going to be a 20-second timeout, so we'll keep it here.
You know, Larry, the Hawks have really never had a real good run all night long. The only time they did was when they faced their biggest deficit. They were down 14-7, reeled off 7 straight points, but they've never really had that hot streak that you usually see out of a team. Win or lose, no matter what, usually a team puts that together, and we've yet to see it from the Hawks. Maybe they've just saved it for the final 4-14.
They're going to need it. That is 4 personal fouls, Rashid Bay. Terrell Myers is already on the bench having fouled out. And we've not seen a situation where Bay and Myers would both be expired to fouls. I guess you put Mark Bass back at the point if that winds up your situation. But let's hope it doesn't come to that. Teron Owens, 1-1 with a chance to tie it.
Bob Del Vescovo over there on the St. Joe bench is getting closer and closer to the coaching staff. He'd probably be the next guy we see in the backcourt.
Or you play real big and risk the pressure. Tie ball game at 54.
11th tie of the night. This has all the stats that go along with a close ball game. Neither team's had a lead of more than 7. Double-figure lead changes, double-figure ties.
Double team Damani. Townsend, high arcing 12-footer, and he's got it. Double figures now for Reggie Townsend. 2-point lead for the Hawks. It's Mark Bass now matched up with Mike Powell out front, and a foul is called on Rashid Bay. A little reach in, ticky-tack.
Boy, he had his hand pressured against the ball. They must have said he pushed his chest a little bit, and that's number 5 on Bay, and that's not a good one to go to the wood on.
My goodness, as we see the replay of the bucket at the other end, Phil Martelli's got a problem. He just looked over at Mark Bass and said, "You are now the point guard."
Bay,
he's got the team with him.
Not too happy on that Hawk bench. Phil Martelli trying to figure out how he's going to go at this final 3:43 now.
Yeah, he's going to play big. He's going to play big with Simmons. And if Brian Ellaby has done his homework, you would expect to see a continuation of the trap for the final 3:43. So Bay and Myers have both fouled out. It's a 1-point ball game as Teron Owens drills another free throw. It's been a long game. A lot of fouls, a lot of free throws. And the frustration on the face of Rashid Bay. 3 minutes, 43 seconds remaining. You're watching St. Joseph's basketball on Sports Channel. A tie at 56. Back to the Reitz Arena, Baltimore to decide this one in just a moment. We are tied at 56, 3:43 remaining. Half number 2, the Hawks at 37%. In the middle of your screen, Val Johnson, former St. Joe Hawks center.
Cindy Anderson over there to her left, our right as we look at it. Other star player for the Hawk women formerly.
Who is now an assistant coach here in Loyola. And you know that they have some mixed emotions this evening. As expected, the press comes against the, quote, one-guard set.
No mixed emotions. Cindy told me before the game she was rooting for St. Joe's.
There you go, but she told her employers the opposite.
Well, they're not listening to the broadcast, perhaps.
They sure are. They asked me how they could get the satellite. Townsend 15 feet away, in traffic, no. Tipped once, no Johnson. And timeout called while in midair by Anthony Smith.
That's pretty good presence of mind there, Larry.
Indeed, Smith the rebound on his way out and called the timeout. Will.
This is not the only close game going on in the state of Maryland tonight. Up at Navy, Rice trailing Navy by 3 with 59 seconds left.
Double team. Bass lays down, no whistle. Powell's got a manpower advantage. Has a kick, but he'll go it alone. Block foul is called Dimitri Damani, as Mike Powell will go back to the foul line.
All kinds of bodies in there. I'd like to see it. Here we do have it.
55, Dimitri Damani.
And he was moving.
Yeah.
His third.
It's a good angle there. 3 on Damani. The storyline on Mike Powell, the leader in every statistical category save rebounding for this club, is he was recruited by Brian Ellerby when Ellerby was an assistant coach at the University of Virginia. Matriculated there, spent a season, did not get much playing time. When Ellerby came here as a head coach, he brought Powell with him. And Mike now leads this club to a 2-point lead over the St. Joseph's Hawks with 3:08 remaining. The pressure defense continues. Townsend picks it up. Townsend in trouble and throws it to the first row of the press box, of the press table, if you will.
He needed help and none was to be found. And the pass went to the statistician.
And the Greyhounds can smell it a little bit. Powell and Bass out front, that's the matchup, double high post. Now they post up Abraham on Townsend. Abraham double down.
Good defense by the Hawks there.
Damani breaks it free for Johnson.
Reggie Townsend stood him straight up. Damani came in from the other side, and the Hawks get the basketball back.
Bass, Damani, Townsend in the lane.
There it is.
Tied at 58.
That's Reggie Townsend's patent shot.
And this one is going to go right down to it. At the 2-minute plateau, a pair of 58s on the board. Anthony Smith with Duval Simmons. Spins him, loses it, tapped away by Simmons. And an 18-second shot clock remaining for Loyola. Dribble penetration. Smith spinning, hanging, great D, Duval Simmons. Lost by Will Johnson as the ball clanged off the underside of the board. Much harder than you would anticipate, as the shot was so off.
Events there, Larry. Loyola's going to get the basketball back with a fresh shot clock. Another chance to untie it.
Referees are conferring. I do not believe there should be a fresh shot clock, as that ball just banged off the underside of the glass. Now Ellerby is over to talk to the officials. And we'll see what they're going with. The question becomes whether Johnson had possession on his way out. If he had possession on his way out, yes, indeed, you give it a fresh clock. But if he did not, it should be more like 8 or 10 on the timer. So we've got a good meeting going on here now.
Our crack statistician says there should be 12 seconds on the shot clock. Let's see what they arrive at. Yep, there it is.
So they do not give Johnson, quote, a possession on that rebound. 1:50 remaining. Platt, the freshman. And now 10 on the timer. Powell, does he know it? He should.
6. He's still dribbling around with it.
3, 2, that would count. And it's all Hawks underneath.
1.5 to go, Larry.
Tied at 58. Hello. And the Hawk faithful behind the bench comes to life. The first noise we've had. Baseline Johnson skips it across Bass, loads and fires. Nope. Broken free off the hands of Townsend. Loyola basketball. Timeout called by Brian Ellerby. You're watching St. Joe basketball on Sports Channel.
Yes.
1 minute, 17 seconds remaining. It's 58-58. Back in a moment.
This is since 1930. I've only met 12 times since then, but that's still an awfully long time.
And they break it with relative ease. 1 minute remaining. Mike Powell head up with Mark Bass. Around the screen, Teron Owens. On the baseline, Smith, dribble penetration. Owens, ball fake. Owens, body contact, air ball. Saved on the baseline, Anthony Smith. Shot clock's at 6. Mike Powell for 3. Rebound Damani. Timeout, St. Joseph's. Duval Simmons actually had the presence of mind to call the timeout, and Phil is over laughing at Duval, whether he agrees with the idea or not.
Townsend and Johnson did a great job boxing out underneath, but because it was an air ball, Loyola wound up getting it back. A guy sliced across underneath along the baseline and picked up the basketball, and despite the good defense and the good positioning by the Hawks, Loyola got themselves a second shot at it. They missed, luckily for the Hawk fans.
Let us see if we can sneak a peek.
January the 13th, beginning at 2.
Listen what we're going to do.
Pick up a little bit of what Bill Martelli's saying.
Dimitri's hands here. Let's put the ball in Dimitri's hands here. Will, you're coming up and setting high screen. Okay, when I call it, high screen here. Reggie's here. Reg, you step in that gap. Mark steps in this gap. Duval, you break to the basket. Will, as soon as he clears you, you roll down the lane. We got a field goal here. Right.
Well, that's good poise for a first-year coach, and you see what the play is.
1, 2.
And you know the Hawks will be keeping their eye open in case Bass winds up open in the corner.
32 on the shot clock, now 30 and 40 left in the game. No press. Zone defense, zone offense. Damani to Bass. Bass sees the double, goes to Townsend. 7-footer, nope, as he stepped away.
27 seconds left, shot clock will be off.
Well, you can't get it any better than Phil Martelli drew it up, and that's precisely the way the play was executed.
Anthony on this side. We're going to run pin to Milt's side. Okay, so this is going to be Nas, and this is going to be Anthony. Okay, this is Anthony right here. This is Nas. I want Milt, you to set the screen. Mike, I want you to try to turn the corner and get to the basket. Okay, if they really cut you off, okay, we still got the screen here. Okay, and we go over top. All right, now you guys here, all right, you got to pay attention to what's going on, because if he gets double teamed, you got to be a receiver. And right in here, if he gets trapped, he may have to throw a pass you, catch it, go to dunk the basketball. We have no more timeouts. We have no more timeouts.
This is the situation the Hawks were in the other night against Old Dominion. They scored too early. They scored with 10.5 seconds left. Then ODU came down and got the winner.
All right, Mike Powell. You'll count it down. Powell's got him stretched out 4 across the foul line. Will the double team come? It does from Duval Simmons with 6. Powell still on the dribble. He's not passing it. He's shooting it. No. And overtime, here we are. Coming back with overtime in a moment.
You know what they're running?
Tied at 58. Larry Rosen, Kent Krasalovic with you in Baltimore. And this is the play that Brian Ellerby designed for Mike Powell to get the last shot, and it was well contested, Kenny.
Hawk defense all over the place, and he didn't get a clear one off, just like Townsend had problems getting off a real clean shot as well on the other end of the floor. And then Will Johnson does the safe thing and deflects it away.
Play on. The tip is won by Loyola, and Dimitri Damani steps in yet again and gets an offensive foul from Teron Owens.
If I had as many ties as this basketball game, I'd have the basis for a whole new wardrobe. 13 ties already tonight. And I know Coach Martelli wants me to get a new wardrobe, so.
He had to when he got the head job. He said those $99 suits don't play as a head coach anymore. Again, Rashid Bey and Terrell Myers, the 2 point guards, if you will, for St. Joseph's, have fouled out. It is Mark Bass. Townsend, blocked from behind. Townsend again loads and fires. Rims on Will Johnson.
Great presence there by both guys. Townsend to get the block and still get a second shot, and then Johnson to get the tip in.
Damani accepting the challenge from Mike Powell. On the corner, Anthony Smith, 17-footer off the heel. Tipped once, no, and over the back comes the flying
Abraham.
Nisolo Abraham, and will walk the length of the floor. Will Johnson's already down there.
I don't know what Will Johnson's rebounding total is so far. Let's see if we can find it here. They've got him for 14 officially, what ties him his career high. And what are they calling here now?
And there's the tip by Will Johnson that gives his club the lead. No free throws coming.
Yeah, no.
So St. Joe will inbound the basketball. Damani breaks the trap.
So no foul. Just tap that.
Offensive foul, Dimitri Damani. As Teron Owens lays down on the contact, Damani tries to step through the double team. And turnabout fair play for Damani.
Off foul, number 55, Dimitri Damani, his fourth.
4 minutes left in overtime. Damani now joins the Legion in foul difficulties with 4. Mike Powell. Powell around Townsend, brings it back out front. Double teamed in the corner. And still Loyola basketball.
That was like a fumble in football. We had guys pointing both ways. Bass wanted the ball back for the crimson and gray, but it's going to stay with the white and green.
Shot clock's at 13. One-on-one move coming from Anthony Smith. In traffic and a foul. Anthony Smith, the junior, out of Burlington, New Jersey, ties it at 60 and a chance to put his club ahead.
As former Hawk coach
Fouls on number 33.
Jim Boyle would say, this is a highly spirited contest.
Well said.
Anthony Smith for 1.
Nope, still tied at 60. Another board for Will Johnson, and he is fouled from behind very cheaply by Mike Powell, who just reached and hacked a hand.
Tell you what, I've seen a lot of palms raised to the sky tonight as the whistles have blown and the players have said, what? Who, me?
Will Johnson has given Phil Martelli a terrific effort tonight. Big free throws coming. Will at 66% has the first. And right up in his face comes Teron Owens. Now Will wants no part of the nonsense. Teron has been yapping at Mark Bass most of the evening. Now he's yapping at Will Johnson, who makes them both.
And has 15 points in the ball game.
15 and 15 unofficially for Will Johnson. Mike Powell calls for the post offense. Popping out comes Anthony Smith. On the post is Butler. They don't give it to him. Flashing high, Abraham. Kick it, Smith. Penetration blocked by Johnson. Recovered by Townsend.
Star of the game,
Will Johnson.
Holy cow. He is a man possessed right now.
Inside 3 minutes. Time to start counting possessions, up 2. Again, the one guard offense. It's Bass, the only real guard on the floor. Simmons for 3, thought about it, missed it. Johnson again, and a foul, and a foul. Whoa, baby.
The emotion. You gotta love it. This guy has taken this basketball game into his own hands.
Greyhound foul, number 25.
Wow.
Lamar Butler, his second, 10th on the team.
And did that St. Joseph's bench explode following the effort by Will Johnson.
For 1.
Now for the bottom end, and a 5-point lead.
Well, they had it one other time, 31-26 early in the second half. They've got the 5-point advantage now with 2:41 to go. You're watching St. Joe basketball on Sports Channel up, and we have a timeout.
It's a 20-second timeout.
variety. So
Check out Will Johnson here, Ken. He
Shot
times
by
it
Simmons
perfect.
originally. And Will Johnson right there, and with a guy's hand right with him. Butler's hand right there. Johnson goes up and says, I don't care if you're there. I'm going for the bucket. And he gets it. And then a little bit of celebrating, well-deserved, for the big guy out of Central High School in Philadelphia.
That's a very good time to use the 20 for Phil Martelli. He's got a 2-possession lead and can kind of establish a little bit of decorum right now. Gets a steal. Bass to Simmons. They'll pull it out.
Johnson and Bass double teamed. Bass gets credit for the steal, but I'd give half of it to Johnson. He's registering numbers all over the floor.
Now they set the offense out near half court, and fouled is Townsend.
Yep, Butler there again. This time called for the foul.
That was a nice post-high entry pass from Duval Simmons, who's getting serious quality minutes in overtime right now, with Myers and Bay already fouled out.
Reggie Townsend.
Reggie,
for 2.
a 79% free throw shooter coming in.
Hawks now in the 43rd minute of this ball game have only used 8 players.
And the lead is 7. Still pressing. And Martelli calls a defensive change. White. 15's the shooter, says Mark Bass. They want to find Teron Owens. Here he comes, Owens to the corner. Good job by Townsend to get out on him and force a bad shot. Powell, good athleticism to pull the offensive rebound and score it.
Mike Powell.
Mike Powell can do it all. He's a very complete player. His club down 5.
Hawks want to be real deliberate on this possession.
Good job by Damani to not touch that basketball until he established his foot on the front side of the midcourt line.
15 on the shot clock, and you can bet they'll try and milk it a little bit more.
Ball screen coming from Johnson for Damani. He takes advantage of it. Shot clock's at 7. Duval, entry pass, Townsend with 3 on the timer. Yeah, Reggie! And he gives the hook up.
All of a sudden, this team playing with all the confidence in the world.
And Mark Bass just got creamed off the ball. A 3 is completed by Owens, who's fouled by Damani. But the elbow thrown by Lamar Butler drilled Mark Bass 30 feet away.
I'll tell you what, Owens got drilled as well. As he was finishing the follow-through on the shot, Damani came through and just kind of clipped him at about the upper arm and spun him down to the ground hard. You were watching Bass go down on the other side, and Domani's now, as you say, done for the evening.
Wow, 1:17 remaining. What was a 7-point lead just moments ago is now a 4-point lead with a chance to cut it to 3. And I think we might see Damian Page. Damian Page stripping the warm-ups. Number 20 and heading for the scorer's table. Ice cold at the far end of the St. Joseph's bench.
Page has only been in 1 game so far. He played 3 minutes against Cal Santa Barbara. The Hawks blew out the Gauchos in the last game before Christmas.
Damani fouls out with 8 points.
That was the first game Page was eligible for.
3-point ball game as Loyola will not go away. Townsend has to take a timeout. They wanted a 5-second count on the Loyola bench. They did not get it. You're watching St. Joe basketball on Sports Channel. 1 minute, 17 seconds remaining in overtime. St. Joseph's leads by 3.
What?
Club right now, they lead by 3 in overtime with 3 of their top ball handlers already fouled out. Simmons, with that little behind the baseline cut, accepts it. Page, they got about 3 seconds to get over, and a blocking foul is called as Simmons was in serious trouble. The shot clock was already at 28, and he was not even beyond the defensive free throw line.
Brian Ellerby trying to ask for a traveling call against St. Joseph's, but his lobbying will not pay off. Hawks will go to the line. 4 personals on Powell now. 1:09 to go in the overtime, and Hawks would love to see Powell foul out of there.
Really? They've already seen Dimitri Damani, Terrell Myers, and starting point guard Rashid Bey go. Missed by Simmons.
Yeah, with 3 guys fouled out, they were trying to play with 8. That would have only left them with 5 guys. So finally they go to Page here.
1 for 2 makes it a 2-possession game. At least theoretically, it's 70-66 with 1 minute remaining in overtime right now. Again, it's that 1-4 string across. Powell calls his own number and drops it down. It's a 1-point game. Mike Powell.
This game just will not die.
Pass to Townsend. Double team. Reggie over the top to Simmons. Cross court to Page. Page waits and goes back out front to Bass.
40 on the game clock, 20 on the shot clock.
A 1-point Hawk lead. Damian Page, who has not even broken up a sweat yet. 8 on the shot clock. Gets it back. Page, good pass Johnson. 17-footer Wilbur, front of the rim. That's St. Joe basketball. That's St. Joe basketball. The shot clock is off.
Now Loyola will have to foul.
They must foul. Timeout, Phil Martelli.
Well, if you've been with us all night long, folks, congratulations. You've been rewarded with one heck of a basketball game.
Seriously. So on that set, the poise of Damian Page, who just became eligible and has played, as Ken said, just 3 minutes in one ball game, did very well on that possession. Here's Phil Martelli designing it up.
Well, right in this situation, Larry, I don't think it matters what he designs up, because as soon as they get it in, if they can get it in, they will be fouled. So that is the key, is to just get the inbounds pass in.
To the basket, okay? I'm sorry, put Damian third over here. Put Mark here. Mark, you screen, and then Carl, both of you are screening a staggered. As soon as he clears you, you cleared the valve, put the ball in Mark's hands, and then watch what we're doing. They're going to foul Mark. Okay, they're going to foul Mark. You keep the dribble alive. If your man leaves you, you flash to the middle of the floor. Okay, we're going Damian, Reggie, Mark, DeVal, and Wilbur outside. Okay, they're going to go man to man. Okay. All right. What?
Well, expecting to set up a series of staggered screens for Mark Bass to accept the basketball. Bass, a 71% free throw shooter.
And he's been better than that throughout his career. Back his freshman year, shot 87% from the line. Set the record. So they want it in his hands.
Here comes the screens. They know they want Bass, so it's going to come to Page, and he's fouled. And Page will attempt his first foul shot as a St. Joseph's Hawk with 19 seconds left in overtime.
Foul number 40.
His club up by 1.
His third.
Well, what kind of foul shooter is the young man? He's never tried
We're going
one.
to find out. I don't have his stats from Colorado, I don't believe, back in 92, 93 when he was a freshman. Then he's played junior college ball since then.
He's a good shooter.
I do know they averaged 7.3 points a game in just 12 minutes of action during that freshman year, and he calmly, coolly cans the first one.
Clean as a whistle. Talking about his defensive assignment with Mark Bass.
Sat down on the end of the bench waiting for his chance, and he got it.
Now a 2-point ball game. If he makes it, they'll take a timeout. He does, and they will. Timeout, and look at the mob around Damian Page. His teammates showing utter appreciation. Everyone off the bench comes over to Damian, who's a prolific scorer, working his way into the rotation, finds himself in an incredible spot, dropping in a pair of free throws with 19 seconds remaining in overtime, having not been on the floor the first 43 and a half minutes of the basketball game.
Yeah, it's funny, we talked earlier about the Hawks have been in close games a couple times real close in the last week. Double overtime game against TCU, then one that went to the final second just 2 nights ago in Norfolk. And, that the Hawks would have some experience in this kind of situation. Who comes in but a guy with no experience whatsoever, and coolly hits the 2 free throws and also does a good job handling the basketball while he's been in there as well.
Here's Ellerby.
Screen this way, or if you're coming this way, so Teron can set it the other way. Okay, we come off the screen. Now, I want Rod out here. Okay, I want Ant here. Screen down, come off. Okay, Nas, you step out behind the line as well. Mike, turn the corner. Okay, if you have it, take a good shot. If you don't,
basically what you're looking at is number 15, Teron Owens, number 13, Anthony Smith. The 2 wing shooters will be in position to accept screens and hopefully catch on the curl to fire the 3, which would tie it unless Mike Powell is able to do it himself. And St. Joseph's will pressure to hopefully cost some time, if nothing else. Inbounded to Anthony Smith. Shot clock is off. You see the game clock. Smith gives it to Powell. The screen comes for Powell. The switch made by Page.
10 seconds.
Knocked out of bounds by Page. Good hands.
And the clock ran a little bit for the Hawks in their favor.
No timeouts left Loyola.
This clock does not go to tenths of a second here at the Reitz Arena.
Inbounding is Owens. Looking for Powell. Here he comes. 7-6. Powell for the tie. Oh! Timeout St. Joseph's with 3 ticks left.
A 3-pointer for Mike Powell. St. Joseph
29 points for Powell. He had 29 last week in their last ball game against Holy Cross. And he's equaled that output here tonight. St. Joseph's will have 3 seconds to try to untie it one more time.
And they'll have to go the length of the floor to do it. Both clubs are now out of timeouts. (72-72). Mike Powell, the sophomore transfer out of Anacostia High School in Washington, D.C. to Virginia, and now making stardom for himself in Loyola. A highly contested 3-point shot that he launched with 5 seconds remaining, and he whistled that one down. Had 27 against William & Mary, 29 against Holy Cross, and now 29 against St. Joseph's. And we'll see what Phil Martelli might have in store to try to pull this one out in single overtime. Over the extended reach of Duval Simmons and the help of Will Johnson. Perfect. 3 seconds remaining. Reggie Townsend, the lefty, can trigger. The Hawks need a hero. Man-to-man with nobody guarding Reggie Townsend.
Well, it's baseball toss time here. Runs the baseline, there it is.
That'll count, What if that had gone in for Damian Page? We'll go double overtime. Damian Page actually had a chance to settle and shoot it, but did not, so we're going to go to a second overtime. Tied at 72. This is the St. Joseph Sports Network, back with overtime number 2 next.
Second time in the last 4 games that the Hawks will go to double overtime. Last time it was a charm. Hawks beat TCU 93-92 on a Mark Bass tray. This time it's tied at 72 as we enter the second stanza of overtime play.
Will Johnson to jump it up against Anthony Smith. And it comes to Mark Bass. Bass has 18. Johnson 18 points, 17 boards, a career night. 16 for Townsend. Duval Simmons. And Damian Page.
Well, Page may be playing himself a lot more playing time down the road.
Page to Bass for three. No, Reggie's there. Reggie's tied up. And that'll be a held ball and belong to Loyola. Good job defensively by Teron Owens.
And he called it right away himself. Got the officials to agree. No foul. So Loyola gets their first try in the second OT.
Mike Powell with 29. Has it on the baseline. 10-footer is good, and Loyola has the lead. They were down 69-62 with 2 minutes left in the first overtime. Here they are with a lead in overtime number 2. Bass has been quiet the second half. Page to Bass.
This is the first Loyola lead since regulation. It was tied, obviously, during the first overtime, but Loyola was never on top.
Page for three. Rims out. Rebound, Mike Powell.
Again, Will Johnson right there in position for the rebound. Couldn't quite hold on that time as Powell was just alongside, managed to get two hands on it.
They swing it, weak side. Owens now. Powell, 16-footer, front of the rim. Rebound, Will Johnson, who clears it efficiently and authoritatively. Rebound number 18.
He cradled that one, said, "It's mine, folks, stay away."
He's got 18 points, 18 rebounds, 9 offensive rebounds, 9 defensive rebounds in a sterling performance in Baltimore. 3 minutes left, double overtime. For the tie, Johnson, front of the rim. Long rebound belongs to Owens.
Does that clock move faster when you're behind? Less than 3 to go in overtime now, in the second overtime, I should say.
Myers, Bay, and Damani have all fouled out. Here comes Powell, swinging it. Smith around Simmons, left hand. Wow. Smith now with 14 points in the ball game. Hawks down 4, halfway through the second overtime.
Biggest
Page.
Loyola lead since it was 14-9.
Wow, up 4. Johnson, cross court, Bass, good look at it, Mark. Yep, that's 7 threes, a career high for him.
Is that guy clutch or what?
He is.
He just does it all the time. When the Hawks need one the most, number 10 finds the ball somehow, and now Tate gives Bass a little shot as he comes down the floor.
Yeah, Mark does take a pounding. 1:54 left in second overtime action. 1 point lead Loyola. On the perimeter is Owens. Baseline blocked by Johnson. Recovered by Smith. Shot clock's at 10 out front, Mike Powell. Powell stutter steps through the legs. Jump stop, forces it poorly and scores it. Out of control, 3-point lead. Page finds Townsend. 126 and counting. 78-75. Page needs a crackback. He used the dribble, gets it back. Shot clock at 15. Townsend on the baseline, spin move, head fake, triple teamed, is fouled. Could not get the roll. And called the foul on Julian Tate, number 31. Reggie Townsend with 1:09 remaining, a chance to cut it to 1.
At the line, Reggie Townsend for 2.
It was 72 apiece at the end of the first overtime. Ooh, that's a good hop. Very good hop. Nope, 1 out of 2. 78-76.
Well, you
With
need a
1
stop
minute
right
remaining.
here, that's for sure.
We have 1 minute to play.
Under a minute to go now.
Less than 1 minute remaining in the second overtime. I understand we might be having transmission problems.
Double team comes from that. Somebody's open, cracking back to Ron Owens. Around Townsend, 10-footer Owens. Yeah! With 7 left, 8 seconds left. No timeout. One more try. With 6. Fine, takes the pull-up. No, tipped by Johnson. No! Held ball. Ball game over. And Loyola has defeated St. Joseph in double overtime by the score of 80-78. A 12-point jumper by Teron Owens with 8 seconds left in the second overtime. Okay, ready? Hayes said this is a 15-footer. Johnson unable to get back the rebound, and the clock is fired on audio on that. Yeah, audio on what? On the second time in a row they've lost by 2. Final score. St. Joseph. Yeah, we're going to go to Loyola. I got Loyola's team winner. All right. Ready? 78. I'm Larry Rosen. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again soon on St. Joseph Sports Network. Wipe the replay. Wipe the replay. Roll replay. Here we are. Going to go slow. Roll credit.
Back, Shula changed his mind, or Wayne Huizinga, the owner, changed it for him at a meeting Wednesday night. Shula, 347 wins, most in the NFL, but hadn't won a title in 22 years. 6 Super Bowls, including one with the Baltimore Colts back in 1968. Johnny Unitas, where are you? Last day for the Birdies in Vero Beach, and then on to Dallas. My guy Vi is there.
Left the frigid temperatures of Philadelphia for some warm sunshine in Florida. In the process, they picked up a bug. Some of the Eagles are complaining of flu-like symptoms. It all started with Rodney Peete.
We sat next to each other on the plane playing cards, and then we got here, we played some cards sitting around each other. I think I got a little of what he got. So I'm just trying to sweat it out in this nice sun down here.
These type of things happen. Hopefully everybody will be ready to go on Sunday.
In between Ray Rose's full contact practices, players like Ricky Waters get their rest when they can. The Eagles will need to be in tip-top shape because they're coming closer to their date with the Dallas Cowboys, and in particular, Emmitt Smith.
You can't stop them, but you got to, slow them down and try to contain them as well as you can.
Now, some information to pass on. I spoke to Ray Rhodes earlier in the day, and if they win this game, he plans on taking his team to Tampa, Florida, where Buddy Ryan and his Eagles had once trained before a big playoff game. Reporting in Vero Beach, Florida, Vi Sukahema, News 10.
You follow our guy Vi, and he'll be on to Dallas after today. The game is Sunday afternoon. And in Dallas, the Cowboys wait.
The Cowboys made a lot of mistakes in the game here at Veterans Stadium. They blew a 17-3 lead. They eventually lose, and you can't make mistakes.
It's a team that commits the fewest turnovers. It usually wins the game. So the whole key for our football team, as has been throughout the regular season and every other year, is keeping turnovers to a minimum and then converting on third downs and then keeping them from converting on third downs. Third down conversions and turnovers are really the key to football.
See, you found out something you probably didn't know before. The Flyers kind of running out of gas in the Western Swing. We're in Denver, down 2-0. The Avalanche, but Eric Lindros, listen to this. 4 seconds left in the second period. Here's a team that not only skates on, but lives on the edge. Then, Shell Samuelson gets his very first goal of the year on a rebound with 4 minutes, 3 seconds left, and they get it tied up 2-2 and get a point out of it all after all. St. Joe at Loyola of Baltimore, Maryland. And what happened? Well, let's take a look at it. Because Reggie Townsend gets the tie here at 58, and that's going to send it into overtime, where Mike Powell of Loyola, with 3 seconds to go, throws up a prayer, and it's 72-72. However, third overtime, the Hawks lose 80-78. And by the way, the first time Loyola has beaten St. Joe since 1930. 30.
Well, it was about time.
Wait a minute. That's 65 years ago. Or 66 years ago.
See, it's never too late.
Wow.
Not the same Mike Powell there.
Body. Now, I should just say the metabolic rate, remember, is the rate at which you burn calories. Now, this is how you figure it out. Don't try to do the math right now. Just get a pen and a piece of paper. You're going to want to write down the basic formula. Do the math later. There are different numbers for men and women, so I'm going to start for the women. We're going to use an average woman. We'll call her Jane Doe. First, take your weight in pounds. Let's say Jane weighs 140 pounds. Obviously, you'll substitute your own weight here. Now, multiply this by 4.3, and you'll get a number that we're going to call X. Now,
don't do it now.
Don't
but
do it now.
multiply your weight
okay?
times 4.3. Okay.
Now, for Jane, that number would be 602. Now, the next thing you're going to do is take your height in inches. Jane's 5'4", which is 64 inches. And remember, you'll fill in your own height here. Multiply it by 4.3, and you'll get